I was 22 years old when my father passed away. He was never happier, I think, in life once he became a franchisee, was in business for himself. I think about that a lot. I wish he was here to see that it was continued by his son and his family, because I know he'd be very proud of it.
Sonic is the USA's largest chain of drive-in fast food restaurants with more than 3,000 drive-ins located coast to coast. In an age when many startup restaurant chains are formulated by deep-pocketed corporations, Sonic is a true original, hailing from very humble origins.
Sonic was founded in 1954 by an amazing gentleman by the name of Troy Smith, who started Sonic as Top Hat Drive-In in Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Ever the entrepreneur, Troy was always looking for ways to improve his business. One day, while traveling in Louisiana, he saw homemade intercom speakers at a hamburger stand that let customers order right from their cars. He brought that idea back with him, added canopies for cars to park under, and hired servers to bring the food out to the vehicles. The business quickly took off, and he soon added a partner in the form of Charlie Pappy.
Troy was the nuts and bolts guy in the office, and Charlie was a salesman.
When it comes to Sonic's history, Marvin Gyros is a bit of an expert. That's because he was one of the original Sonic franchisees. Today, he owns over 70 Sonic drive-ins, and along the way has been a great mentor to Cody Barnett. Marvin also owns a virtual museum of Sonic memories, including one of those early intercom systems. Just prior to Marvin's entry into the company, the founders had discovered that the name Top Hat was trademarked.
So Troy went to the dictionary, and at that time the space boom was just starting, and he saw the word Sonic and Sonic Boom.
Sonic was not only the right name for the times, it was the right name for Troy Smith. You see, years earlier, when he installed those intercom speakers, he started using a new slogan at the Top Hat. That slogan? Service at the speed of sound.
And 3,200 drive-ins later, he's left quite a legacy.
I am a second-generation franchisee. My father was a franchisee before I was Sonic. There's a picture of me wearing one of his t-shirts that had Sonic Drive-In on it, and it basically swallows my whole body. I think I was 5 or 6 years old in front of my house.
As a teenager, Cody was raised in a middle-class family that always stressed the value of hard work. By 15, he was holding down 2 summer jobs, detailing cars in the evening, and working days as a car hop at a local Sonic.
My dad, I think, just got the biggest thrill out of seeing me work. He just did, though.
On occasion, he drove with his dad from Oklahoma to Texas to visit Sonic locations that his dad owned. Later, when he attended college, however, Cody realized that what he really wanted to do was to have a career in archaeology. Unfortunately, his father died suddenly in 1992, and those plans were set aside.
I knew his father well. In fact, his father and I was partners in one store when his father died, and Cody came out of college. He got in there, he pitched, he learned the business, he worked hard, and he just pulled himself up by his bootstraps.
The decision to take over the stores and give up a career in archaeology wasn't an easy one for Cody. On the one hand, his family could have sold the Sonic locations. However, he knew an opportunity when he saw one.
My dad left the 7 franchises in very good standing with wonderful partners.
However, his dad had also been at a point in his life where he was content to maintain a status quo. Cody, on the other hand, saw a chance to expand the business, which would allow him to provide income for his mother, his siblings, and his own family, while further honoring his dad's legacy. Today, some 15 years later, Cody's a multimillionaire and a philanthropist who owns over 22 Sonic locations. So let's start at the beginning. What exactly is franchising? Basically, a franchise agreement is an arrangement where someone with a good idea for a business, the franchisor, sells the rights to use the business name and to sell a product or service, which is the franchise, to others, who are the franchisees. To explain it in the most basic terms, Cody likes to use a sports analogy.
I kind of look at it like this. They write the playbook, and I execute the playbook.
That means Sonic sets the standards for how the store should be operated, and they promote the brand. In effect, Sonic does everything they can do to get customers to drive in to Cody's locations.
And as a franchisee, my job at that point in time is to make sure that their experience is excellent and that they want to come back again.
There are many advantages to franchising. The franchisor will supply management and marketing experience. The franchisee will have personal ownership and the benefit of a nationally recognized name. There's financial advice and assistance that's available, and normally a lower failure rate. Of course, there are many disadvantages to franchising as well, one of which is the large startup cost involved in opening a new franchise location. For this reason and many others, franchisors like Sonic are very careful when they select potential partners.
We look for financial strength, obviously. We look for restaurant operating expertise. But we've learned over time that while those things are critically important, probably one thing is more important than those, and that is a good fit with our culture.
Now, given all the benefits and the safety nets that exist within franchising, does a franchisee really feel like a small business owner or an entrepreneur?
As a sense of being in business on my own, I truly feel like I am. As a matter of fact, I feel like I have, at this point in time, 22 separate businesses.
And that makes sense. After all, Cody takes risks just like any other startup. He chooses a location that he thinks will work, he borrows money, he pays a licensing fee to Sonic Industries, he builds the building, he buys the equipment, and he pays monthly royalty, co-op, and advertising fees for each store.
Those things are my responsibilities, but what's wonderful about franchising is that I have a brand who has defined what it is that I'm selling. And so I have this wonderful support from a franchisor.
Of course, franchising is just one form of business ownership. When Troy Smith began his venture in 1954, he ran it initially as a sole proprietorship, then later as a partnership, and then Sonic expanded into franchising and eventually became a publicly held corporation. Cody's company, Solus Management, is a corporation, yet he runs each of his stores as limited partnerships, mainly due to the wide number of business partners that he has. The bottom line is that choosing the right model isn't always easy, and it isn't uncommon for companies to change forms of ownership as they grow in order to adapt to their needs. It's kind of fun to look back and see how things have changed since the early days of Sonic. For example, when Marvin signed on as a Sonic franchisee some 45 years ago, the contract was drawn up by the landlord of founder Troy Smith, who happened to be a lawyer.
As you can see, it's a page and a half, and I believe today our franchise agreement is 49 pages.
Now, you might wonder how they determined franchise fees. Well, being a pioneer in the industry, Troy Smith was forced to come up with innovative solutions.
We had the vendor who sold us our bags keep track of how many bags each drive-in sold, and we got 1 penny for every bag. But that idea of paying more royalty as your sales increase is still part of the way we do it today at Sonic.
Another Troy Smith innovation was angled parking. And while that isn't tied directly to the topic of franchising, it still makes for a pretty funny story.
He knew he wanted angle parking, but he didn't know exactly how to figure it out mathematically, so he just parked a lot of cars of his friends and himself and customers at an angle.
And this solved the problem, but if you look closely at the photo, you realize that
Each stall measured a little different size.
at this point in his life, Cody is able to look back on his decision to follow in his father's footsteps with a good deal of clarity.
What we wanted to do was to keep the franchises going because they were healthy businesses. And today, it's obviously the best decision we made as a family after his death, for sure.
His success, however, didn't come easy. It was the result of dedication and hard work.
You're only limited in the franchise business by how many hours you want to put in, and if you're willing to save your money to reinvest in other stores. You can do extremely well.
Looking forward, Cody's challenge is to temper growth with an eye toward maintaining a good work-life balance, which is something that his dad was always able to achieve as well.
I think that's one of the most lovely things about franchising, being your own boss. And my dad really got that. He really understood that time is the most important thing, is the best gift you can give your children. He gave a lot of that. He understood how important it was, for instance, to be at every game that I played in while I was in school. He knew that what he was working so hard for was to give us a good life and to be a good father. The way he achieved that is being organized and being disciplined and making sure that your expectations for your business and family are reasonable and healthy. But if you don't have a balance between both, I don't think either really can be sustained.
On the financial side, as Cody looks to the future, he also plans to continue to support a variety of charitable and educational endeavors, one of which is an ongoing archaeological dig based in Italy.
And this is Dr. Farland Stanley at OU, who is the director of the dig.
You know, it's funny how life can come full circle. By excelling in a job that he loves as a franchisee with Sonic,
He's treated people really well. He takes extremely good care of his managing partners in his stores and his employees.
Cody Barnett has provided for his family and in doing so has truly honored his father's legacy.
His father would be extremely proud of what he's done.